Your main event is a six-man tag team match. Get your phone call.
I've been anticipating this main event ever since it was announced, and it wasn't, again, the main event I expected to be coming with 3 weeks ago, but I think it's even better because you've got some dues that need to be paid, and I've got an incredible team ready to do it.
Introducing first, team number one, making their way to the ring, representing the Combination. A combined weight of 597 pounds, the team of Armando Racer, Remy LeVay, and the premier tag team champions, the Cougar Brothers.
It all started with the individual on the right-hand side, Atticus Cogar. Cogar has a hatred in his heart and a desire to maim from the cockles of his soul. Atticus and Otis Cogar assaulted me. They assaulted this entire tag team division. They ran roughshod over this company. And you know what? You want to defeat a monster. Sometimes you get a monster yourself. I got a princess. We'll see what happens as the Cogar Brothers and Remy LeVay. Remy's already won a matchup tonight. And these traveling businessmen have had revenge on their minds for a year.
Cornelius Crumbles and Sonny Defarge.
Crumbles and Defarge were assaulted and left for dead at the end of Welterweight 2. They were bloody, they were battered. We didn't see them for 3 months' time. They came back looking for revenge. They still want those Chikara masks that the Cogar Brothers had stolen. And they want the Premier Tag Team Championships, and they do not have to step into battle alone. The odds are even. It's a fair shake here tonight at Snakebit. A man I've not always been on the good side of, but I've known for 15 years. This man, Jimmy Jacobs.
Weighing in at 175 pounds, the unprofessional professional wrestler, the Zombie Princess, Jimmy Jacobs.
Jimmy Jacobs says he's a princess. He always gets what he wants. And Jacobs thinks he's so tough he can call himself a princess and get away with it, because who's going to tell him not to? Atticus Cogar online said he wants to be a princess too. I think that's a reference to the power of Jimmy Jacobs, or maybe the identity of Jimmy Jacobs. Either way, Atticus wants to destroy Jimmy Jacobs and attain what Jacobs has earned. And Atticus is already barking orders at the rest of the culmination. Gory has been banned from ringside here tonight.
Jacobs, that's in their best interest.
Check out these 6 entities. A lot of hatred permeating through this ring.
And I only hope the culmination knows what they're in for with Jimmy Jacobs.
I hope Jimmy Jacobs knows what he's in for with the culmination.
Absolutely.
Looks like it'll be Atticus and Jacobs starting this matchup off. I may not have to wait long to get what I was hoping to get out of this matchup. That's Atticus getting taught a lesson. Jacobs not intimidated.
Neither is Atticus.
That scene looks familiar to me. I was on the other end of that visual once before.
You know, Joe Dabrowski told me you guys were dirty, smelly, stinky scumbags. But brother, you've exceeded expectation.
Those are their good qualities.
But Joe told me something else too. And he wanted me to tell it to you. This match right now, it's a street fight.
Did I forget to mention that?
You know, Joe, I don't think that was on the marquee.
Sorry. Got a lot on my brain. Sometimes I forget things. Thank you, Jimmy, for picking up the slack. This is a street fight. Culmination versus Crumbles, Defarge, and Jimmy Jacobs. And let's just enjoy the chaos, because if you hurt management, if you hurt talent, if you yell at fans, if you just try to make this entire company yours for the taking, no matter the casualties, no matter the body count, there's going to be consequences. Not just for hurting me, but for especially hurting Crumbles and Defarge, for hurting Alex Jordan, for hurting the other athletes on this roster. What they did to drop kick and uppercut back in the day. So many casualties in the wake of the culmination, and tonight, Crumbles, Defarge, and yeah, Jimmy Jacobs have a chance to extract some revenge any way they please. And we'll follow it as best we can.
And Joe, this was a powder keg before adding Jimmy Jacobs, and for the fans that maybe for the first time if they've ever seen Jimmy Jacobs, don't let anything fool you. This guy will fight. This guy has been in bloody wars, and right now Jimmy Jacobs is in his element.
Jacobs is sadistic, Jacobs is bloodthirsty, Jacobs is unconscionable, which is why I chose him for this matchup, because he has all the qualities the culmination take pride in.
And not a man who has softened his stance over the years by any stretch of the imagination. I would say no man uses a spike or a sharp weapon like Jimmy Jacobs.
It's Atticus and Defarge, Otis and Crumbles, it's Remy LeVay and Jimmy Jacobs. Everybody's beating the hell out of each other. The Cobras collide. Good grief, you just hear bodies hit steel and floor and wall everywhere. Jacobs with a trash can.
And Joe, the only question I have for you is, we know the culmination is like a group of brothers. You think of the Hart family, the Steiner brothers, the Rhodes family. You think of all the family units that we've seen over the course of professional wrestling. That's what the culmination is. Crumbles and Defarge, obviously a tag team, very familiar with one another, been tagging for quite some time now. But how do they coexist with Jimmy Jacobs in a match like this? Do they need to coexist with Jimmy Jacobs in this match?
Not thus far, it's divide and conquer. As the culmination pays for their sins here in this 6-man tag team street fight. And there will be no potentially crooked referees helping Remy LeVay this time. Look at Otis digging into Crumbles. And I believe that might be the bell hammer. Atticus and Defarge on the far side. This is absolute madness.
And Remy LeVay getting a personal tour around Turner's Hall by Jimmy Jacobs. A man, no stranger to this building, no doubt about that.
This is the environment, this is the world the culmination wanted to bring to this organization. Just don't be surprised and don't be angry when we find people that are willing to fight back.
Oh, Jimmy Jacobs said it himself. He says, if you, Joe Dombrowski, don't like the culmination, then he doesn't like the culmination. A man that is so easy to hate somebody is a very dangerous individual.
And Jacobs has been in every major company and worked with every major star. He knows the tricks of the trade, as the Cobras just took a hammer to the neck of Cornelius Crumbles. That is sadistic, and Atticus just sets it down like it's nothing. Like it's another day at the office. God.
That's exactly what that is.
Atticus Cobra is repulsive.
So obviously we know that you've got a personal vested interest not only in the Cobras, but definitely in this matchup as well. We've seen where it's gone with you.
Look at Jacobs. Jacobs for a pile driver. Otis saves Remy. Here comes Crumbles. My God, they're fighting on the stage now.
And I will say, I appreciate you staying up here with me at this point.
I'm not going anywhere near this ring. You kidding? That's why Jimmy Jacobs is here. This is not a battle I can fight and win. I tried. I was a martyr for my cause. But Jimmy Jacobs, Crumbles, and Defarge, we need all the help we can get, because the culmination gets stronger every month.
And hopefully this building can hold these 6 individuals. You know, you said it, Gore was barred from ringside, but you have to think that he's got a bird's eye view somewhere in this place. And we've seen the culmination with the momentum tonight. They've gone undefeated thus far.
Oh God, look. I'm not sure if that's Defarge or Crumbles just buried under that table. Chairs being flung on top of him. Remy now, double suplex. Oh! Jacob's spine bounces off the round.
And I'll tell you, the base of that spine, if you get a contusion or herniated disc right there, it goes right into the nerve, and a pinched nerve means you've got no feeling, no ability to move, no momentum. And that's not good when you're facing the culmination, because they will hurt you, as we've seen. You addressed the laundry list of names earlier. You yourself have felt that pain.
Atticus has that incensed look on his face, like he's always looking for his next target, his next victim. He's always bloodthirsty. unfortunately, I may have put Jimmy Jacobs in a position that he wasn't prepared for.
Well, I don't know really what the pep talk or what if you gave Jimmy Jacobs the score on these individuals, but I don't know if you can properly explain exactly what the Cobras and the Culmination are.
I gave Jimmy Jacobs all the backstory I could on these three gentlemen, and gentlemen is not an accurate term in itself. These three monsters, these entities, these savages. As Otis closes out the combo, each member of the Culmination gets their turn. Jacobs able to kick out, thankfully. And honestly, if Jacobs, Crumbles, and Defarge aren't successful, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's left. I don't know how to stop these guys.
Well, thus far, they've been unstoppable. Everything they've set out to do, they have done.
They have the tag team titles. They have the welterweight title. Remy's manipulating people up and down this roster.
And Atticus in the face. You know, Atticus, he said in that he wants to beat Jimmy Jacobs like. I mean, he kind of sees a little bit of Jimmy Jacobs in himself. You have to wonder at this point if Jimmy Jacobs can reciprocate that thought.
Crumbles and Defarge are crawling back. They want to keep fighting Otis. That decapitating clothesline. Will this be all? 2 count only. Crumbles and Defarge are trying to help out their tag team partner. They want a piece of the Cobras like no other. But they are still not even in the ring yet. It is 3-on-1. Jacobs is doing everything he can just to survive.
You see Crumbles and Defarge. They're trying to make their way, but they just took a lot of punishment from the Cobras.
It is divide and conquer by the Culmination.
And that's certainly the name of the game with Culmination. Get the odds in your favor, maneuver how you have to, and then take control.
And now, with Jacobs incapacitated, they turn to Defarge. One at a time, the Culmination dissects. Oh, Defarge! Atticus ducked, but Otis got the clothesline. Uppercut!
Oh, here we go.
Uppercut! Defarge has an opportunity. Uppercut! To battle back! Uppercut! Oh, I can yell uppercut all day if it's Atticus on the receiving end. Uppercut! I love it. Give him one for me, Defarge. Springboard uppercut! That's my favorite.
I bet so. That might have been the most impactful of the bunch. This is the first time we've seen Crumbles or Defarge in firm control. Well, at least one half.
And Atticus is out of commission. Here comes Remy LeVay. Rapid fire headbutts. That sick mind has altered so many careers here in Premier, and now altering the state of mind of his opposition, Sonny Defarge. Here comes Crumbles with a primal scream and an explosion. My God, the intensity all of these athletes are bringing is off the page.
Joe, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm guessing that street fight thing that you had so conveniently forgot to mention was
Drop kick!
Jeez, was a plan from early on.
Could be, yeah. It was in my notes. It's one of those things you forget to bring up.
How convenient. How convenient for you.
Well, it's been the Culmination having convenienced most of this matchup with their strategy. And I'm not going to deny the Culmination have more cohesion than Jacobs, Crumbles, and Defarge are going to. There's no doubt about that. We've seen that utilized time and again in this matchup as the Culmination have isolated one member of this team. And right now it's Crumbles who's trying to fight for his life. Double team coming up. Suplex. Elbow drop.
Impressive, taking it to the big man, Otis Cogar.
And keep in mind, BC Steel, the winning team gets to book any match of their choosing for next month. If the Culmination survives, if the Culmination divides and conquers, and they have the power to book a matchup, Premier may change as we know it. Crumbles and Defarge are maybe fighting for their very careers at this point.
That That is something that you do not want. The culmination
I want a clothesline.
with any sort of power is dangerous.
They've taken so much power on their own. Imagine if they can win more.
And yet, what kind of matchup would you expect from them? I mean, you're taking the power out of your hands at that point.
Jacobs with the chair. We got a number of equalizers.
Certainly a man that does not need an explanation as to how to use a chair is Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah, you want to get violent, you want to get extreme, you want to do whatever nomenclature you want to put on it, culmination. Jimmy Jacobs can match you, if not top you. Remy's in trouble. Atticus hurt. Otis incapacitated. It's Jacobs, Crumbles, and Defarge taking control of this matchup. Such important stakes in the line. Such a personal rivalry that has caused us to come to such dire circumstances.
You have Crumbles and Defarge. They were setting up some sort of project. Oh, geez. Jimmy Jacobs will get anything that isn't nailed down. And even a few things that are nailed down, quite frankly.
Absolutely. And they are building a chair structure. I don't even want to imagine the after effects of this, but Atticus has it coming. Atticus's punishment. No! Combination bail out their buddy. Jacobs with a tope. The suicide dive is able to connect. They thought they got Atticus out of harm's way, but I'll tell you, Atticus deserves this and so much more with the damage he's done, the emotional pain, the turmoil, the physical agony he's caused to so many people, including myself. Look at Defarge!
Well, Joe, we may not agree on a lot, but I will say that Atticus Cogar and Otis Cogar went way, way, way too far. Atticus especially, laying their hands on you. It's one thing to get in there with guys that knew what they signed up for, but that was a far stretch beyond the norm, so to speak.
I'll teach the culmination a lesson. Drop kick. Otis tried to duck underneath, but I think Crumbles still able to connect with the back of the head of Otis. But I'll tell you what, if I have to speak to them in the only language they know, that being violence, I'll do it. I just won't be the one to do it personally. Oh, Crumbles may be going curb stomp. Oh, got caught. Oh, jeez, Otis dropping Crumbles into that chair structure.
Well, Crumbles and Defarge started that end of it, so they kind of got bit by the snake that they unleashed, if you will.
And Otis into the cover. Defarge the save. Defarge recovered from that high-risk maneuver. Defarge got height that time, didn't he?
Absolutely, and Crumbles needed that save. Crumbles, I don't think, was going to be able to kick out of that. We see him go to the outside.
Otis, uppercut, and Defarge are the two powerhouses of their respective teams. Who's going to budge? Uppercut. 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 Otis is still up. Springboard. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, God, Otis plants him.
So the head snapped forward.
Got him. No. Oh, thank God. Half a count away from the culmination, having power to book any match they want. Jacobs with a chair. Otis didn't feel anything. Felt a fly land on him. Oh, it is scary. The power and pain threshold he has. Oh, but Jacobs sends Otis face first. Roll up, got him. No.
Did you see that look of fear in Jimmy Jacobs' eyes? That's not something you see in Hawaii.
I love it. Chair to the skull of Atticus. Oh, Jacobs contra code. Oh, no, 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 no. Got countered. Oh, I felt this. No!
And Joe, that's going to be it.
The culmination's gonna book a matchup that'll no doubt ensure the demise of Premier. What? Oh, no. We're not done yet.
Oh, you see the mask.
Yeah, it's one of those. I believe that's the uppercut Ulysses mask. We saw the culmination put the mask on Alex Jordan before assaulting him, and now sending a message through Jimmy Jacobs.
Joe, you may have brought in Jimmy Jacobs with good intentions and hope for a good fight, but that's not what we're seeing right now.
No. Pitch black forecast. No!
That's it. I'm sure Jimmy Jacobs is going to be hurt.
Without the culmination, they could win every championship. They could send our top talent out of town. There you see the mask. And here's Crummels and Defarge. Crummels and Defarge from out of nowhere, and they're laying into the Cogers now with chairs. They saved Jimmy Jacobs at the nick of time, and wait a second. Crummels found the mask. Crummels found the mask, and Remy LeVay from behind. Crummels and Defarge, it looked like they were going to get their property back after all this time, but Remy LeVay, with that kendo stick, make sure the masks stay where they belong.
And that's why that group, you always got to have your head on a swivel when you got culmination members around, and that's just proof positive with Remy LeVay.
I think that mask went back to Otis. Jacobs far away, look in his eye.
He's still out of it.
He's not in a good way as Remy continues stacking chairs. We have people seriously hurt out here, but the fight continues because that's how important these stakes are. The future of this company may depend on it.
And you know, these are the two that started it as far as our cameras were following. It was Remy LeVay and Jimmy Jacobs in that ring. And Jimmy Jacobs obviously in nowhere near the condition he was at the start of this.
Remy, the mind eraser. Jacobs countered. Jacobs a counter! Jacobs a cutter! Jimmy Jacobs brings the win home for Crummels and Defarge! Jimmy Jacobs survived! And man, I was starting to feel some remorse. I was starting to feel some regret that I brought Jimmy Jacobs into this battle. Perhaps a little unprepared. Well, you can never be fully prepared for the culmination. But Jacobs survives, Jacobs wins, and Crummels and Defarge, man, they get a small measure of revenge for the torture the Cogers and the culmination have brought them all these months. Jacobs still wants to fight.
Obviously more than personal, we know what's happened, but now there's a question that remains. Crummels and Defarge pick.
Anybody, any match, as long as it involves active premier or welterweight roster members.
As you and everybody else in this room knows, last night, Mr. Joe Dombrowski announced that the winner of this match gets to book a match of their choosing at the next show. So for the Coger brothers, you have 1 month from today to prepare. Because it wasn't a street fight, so using those titles as a weapon to beat us in the tag title tournament, I suppose was fair game, because there were no disqualifications. Now, a month from today, March 24th, we've got a match in mind where you won't be able to use those as weapons. You won't be able to avoid the two of us any longer, because you will only be able to win it right here in this room, in this ring. Yeah! Ladder match!
Whoa! You can see the reaction of the Cogers realizing the fate that's in front of them. The title belts will be suspended from the ceiling. And the Cogers, everything they built is in jeopardy because Crumbles and Defarge finally get the tag title shot they've been looking for 6 months. In a ladder match, the Culmination are upset. They need to regroup. This is not the way they wanted this night to end, but a measure of big-time revenge from Crumbles and Defarge with Jimmy Jacobs by their side. Ladies and gentlemen, the ladder war is a month away as this rivalry gets elevated to new heights here at Premier Championship Wrestling.